Rebuild India model of education must fail for commercialized institutions to make more money. You know why? Rebuild India model of education is trying to break the norms of the commercialized education, is trying to make education more affordable, more accessible, and more equitable. First of all, can education be a business? Should education be a business? But unfortunately in our country, education is the biggest business. Every child that is born in this country goes to the education system, goes through the education system, gets into schools, and further many of them go into colleges also. So the market, if you analyze education as a business, the market for it is the entire population. When you set the baseline of quality as a bit higher, at a bit higher price, then everybody is aligned to expect good education at a higher price. Rebuild India education should fail because Rebuild India model of education is trying to tell people that affordability, accessibility, and equitability doesn't mean bad education. World-class education is possible to be delivered to everybody at an affordable cost, make it accessible to everybody, and make it equitable to all sections of the society. The cost of educating people is not necessarily higher. What are we trying to do? With education becoming a business, the students become the clients and the parents become the paying customers. So as with any other business, you try to do a lot of things which will attract more clients, which will attract more customers, which will make people pay you more and more money. That is what makes the education systems, the schools and colleges develop flashy infrastructure. Is there a need to have air-conditioned classrooms? What is it that you are trying to do to your children? Do you want your children to get accustomed, get acclimatized to the vagaries of nature, to the changes in nature, or do you want to keep them in a controlled environment? Don't you want your children to get exposed to sun, get exposed to cold, get exposed to rain, get exposed to all varieties of nature and develop adaptability to nature? So when you make air-conditioned classrooms, tell me if it helps in making your children better, or is it spoiling your child? Is it making your child weak? But making classrooms air-conditioned makes the course in that particular school more scalable. Parents will be more happy to pay more money for that air-conditioned classrooms. Is it necessary? Is it necessary to have one-to-one teacher-student ratio? Do you want your child to be taken care of by a lot of teachers, or do you want your child to develop with a lot of his or her friends? Being with the people of their age group makes them more adjusted to the society, develops in them a lot of abilities which elders cannot imbibe in them. So having students to work in smaller groups of their own age is more productive and more beneficial for their education than having a smaller student-teacher ratio. 2 or 3 students with one teacher. Teaching-centric education makes it less productive for the child's development. But to sell education more personal attention, one-to-one teacher attention, more time with the teacher continuously guiding the students, monitoring throughout the day, that sells, that makes you willing to pay more money to the institutions. Now think about all these things. Think about a lot of things that are happening in institutions. Think about whether something makes your child strong, makes your child more adaptable, makes your child more competent, makes your child more capable of facing the world, facing the future, and becoming capable of handling all the challenges of the future. Or is it just trying to get more and more money from the parents to have more and more flashy infrastructure, flashy things which not necessarily will contribute to the development of your child? Rebuild India model of education is working on multidimensional development of children. It is making students work on their physical development, their intellectual development, emotional development, social and spiritual development as well. There are processes which are making students develop in all these dimensions on a daily basis. They know something every day. There are passive learning possibilities, active learning possibilities, peer learning possibilities. All of this is possible to be delivered to students at a lower cost. It is not necessary to have exponential costs. It is not necessary to have the fees in schools in lakhs. For what are you paying fees, school fees of 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs a year? For what? Is it adding value to the life of your child? Think about it. Don't contribute to making education expensive. Don't contribute to making education commercialized. It is bad for the nation and it is definitely bad for your child. Commercialized education will lead to a lot of social problems. And think about another aspect. Whose job, whose responsibility is it to educate the children? It is the responsibility of the parents. It is the responsibility of the family. It is the responsibility of the community. Now, when the family and the community and the parents are not able to do it consistently, the society has decided to set up education institutions and deliver education in a formal way. So, educational institutions are trustees of the communities, of the society's trust on them. As an educationist, as an institution, my job is to use the money that you give me to deliver education. How on earth can I build a palace using the money that is collected in my school? How do I become eligible to use the money that is given by the community for the education of the children to buy a luxury car? How can I buy islands? How can I buy one private jet? Commercialization of education has led to development of multiple ways of siphoning off the money that people give for the purpose of education. Dangerous for the country. This will lead to destruction of the minds. This will lead to destruction of the social order, which has already happened. So, Rebuild India model of education, if it succeeds, it will force people to bring down the cost of education. It will force people to look at the possibility of a very high quality education at an affordable cost. If you can manage to pay 2 lakh rupees fees for your child's education per annum, and if you can get better education at a much lesser cost, wouldn't that money be useful for some other purpose of your life? Why is it that you have to pay so much money for education? Think about it. Rebuild India model of education is pushing very hard to disrupt this commercialization of education. If this succeeds, a lot of commercial interests will be affected. A lot of people who consider education as the best business, whenever they have some black money, put it in and build an education system, build an education institution. All that will have to rethink, all that will have to tone down their expectations, tone down their demands, and become responsible towards delivering education as a national duty, as a commitment to humanity. Education should not be a business in the first place. If you want to earn money, if you want to build your palace, if you want to have your private jet, if you want to buy islands, don't consider education as the means of doing that. Education should be, and it should be only a responsibility that you have towards the community, towards the society, towards the country, and you are just a trustee of the community and you are not entitled to make profit out of it. That's how the system is. That's how the system is. Education in our country is a not-for-profit venture. But there are so many ways by which the money can be siphoned off and commercialization thrives in education. Rebuild India model of education should succeed. Rebuild India model of education will succeed when a lot of people who are committed to the cause of development of the nation, to the cause of strengthening the roots of our nation, about our culture, come together and work towards making education more and more affordable to the masses. And if you care for the welfare of our nation, Rebuild India model of education should succeed. Namaste. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Varun Murthy.